So, as we said, first thing we look at in terms of your setup, for me, if we just look at this part of your setup and do that, for me, the right-hand one now looks a little bit more functional in terms of we can move from there, okay? I wouldn't say at the moment it's perfect, but it's certainly moving to where we want to go. If we move too much too soon...
You want to turn it in...
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be... I mean, I would say probably more towards there, and this one can be where it's there, okay? You're kind of now here, but you were... I mean, if you go to the red line, you were kind of... over there somewhere, and further back as well, and wider. So your right heel's going from here, sort of coming on, in your case, anti-clockwise, moving around slightly, just to go from there, bringing it gradually. So at least you get yourself in a position where you can move, okay? More easily, okay? Now, because that right foot is out and back and round, as you swung the goal, and this thing is not going to change overnight, okay? You can change the setup quite quickly, because it's a static move, isn't it? If I say, I'll bring your right foot forward, or put it back, or move it there, you can do that because you can control where your foot's going to go at 1 or 2 mile an hour. When you're trying to adjust something at 60 mile an hour, it takes a bit of practice, okay? So the sway you got because of the body moving now on this right side would cause some issues, okay? So when you come back to goal, but you've got to move all that way back and all that way through to make contact. Now, when you're doing that, to be successful on contact is going to be difficult, and there's going to be a little bit of a stretch of the arms. Now, I'm going to sort of assume that there's probably 2 or 3 bits of advice that you've heard quite regularly. Number 1, keep your head down, and number 2, keep your left arm straight.
Right, yeah.
Are those 2 things you've heard?
Yeah.
The biggest load of rubbish you could tell anyone on a golf course. Okay. But everyone tells everyone.
Wait till I tell
exactly,
them.
okay? Everyone tells everyone, okay? Because when someone says you keep your arm straight, you're going to lock it, okay? When you're swinging a golf club on the way back, as you go back here, okay, what we want to try and do is get a nice hinge of the wrist there. And you kind of create a good hinge here on the way back. But as someone says you keep your arm straight, locking it, as you swing through, your left arm's not going to be able to bend at all. So at this point, with your arm there, we'd want the club to be up here somewhere. That's going to be the club head speed that we're going to create, not this sort of locking with the arm and straightening the arm at this way. Because more often than not, when people top a golf ball, as the phrase keep your head down will come from. If someone's topped the ball on the ground, keep your head down, keep your head down, okay? What that's been caused by, for a lot of cases, and certainly your case, I'd imagine, if we look at your golf swing, if that's the circle your golf swing is swinging around, if you move back here and don't get back to that red line, your club now, your circle is basically going to bottom out here. So when the club gets to the golf ball, it's rising up too much. Now with a drive, that's fine, obviously, because with an iron on the ground, you top it. Okay, and that's the biggest reason why people top the ball. They just move themselves off the ball. They've swayed, okay, or they've tried to keep their arms straight, so they shrug up with the shoulders and get very tense, and then everything starts lifting and rising. Now, what may happen is somebody may see your body rising up as a result of that, and they see your head. They go, oh, lift your head, keep your head down. Okay, your head is not independently moving like that, is it? It's not going up and down, looking up to sky. Okay, so the cure of doing this is not put your chin down on your chest and keep your head down. Because I keep my head down here, I can still move my head up if my body moves, can't it? So you top the ball or hit bad shots because of generally keeping your head down more. Okay, so we can just try and eliminate any of these thoughts that I no doubt guests be shouted across the face. Oh, how? Keep your head down, do this, slow it down, keep your left arm straight. All these things are going to cause issues in the swing, and again, added more advice to which we don't already need. Okay, your thought needs to be setup wise. Bring that foot round, okay, and get a little bit more relaxed in terms of the grip position, and then allow your swing to happen, okay? You have got a pretty good swing, if truth be told. There's a lot of good movements in that, hence the reason why you've got to 21 in 4 or 5 years, as you said, with a setup / swing, or setup mainly, that's going to be a little bit restrictive, okay? It's going to stop you able to create as much power as you want to do and so on, and as much control. Okay, and some thoughts about probably keeping the arms straight and keeping your head down, as we said. Okay, so we can try and get away from that habit and just allow the swing sort of function as normal. The sway, I think, in time will be a little bit reduced once this foot. Once this foot now is turned in, because you can't sway as much when it's turned in. If I was, say, for example, here and did that, I could sway all day, couldn't I? There's a big ability now. If I do this, I can't really sway as much. Okay, now going back to the point,
even beneficial for my
I think it will 100%.
I haven't got the outside cartilage is taken out 40 years ago, and the cruciate ligament is gone.
And I think the less stress we can put on that right knee, because as you swing through the golf on this right hand one, as you came through, okay, hitting the golf ball, your right knee there was starting to sort of come through as you wanted it, whereas this one here just can't move at all. The right knee is nowhere near your left knee there. Okay, there's a big gap there between knees as you're trying to come through, and the knee can't get, and then the right leg now starts going backwards, as you can see, as you swing. So watch your right leg, so it moves further back. Yeah. It's sort of coming away from the leg, because all your weight now is staying back on this trail foot. Okay, because the foot is just so far back behind you, kind of thing. Yeah. All right. Well, so we can bring that foot forward and round. Okay, that's going to be your sort of sequence to think about now at the moment. And just nice and relax with the arm. Lesson 2, what we'll do, we'll look a bit at the short game and the short shots around the green, and then lesson 3, with that setup change hopefully sort of sunk in by then, we'll then look at some of the sort of swing tweaks we're going to make to go forward and sort
same
of put a plan
principle,
in place.
all iron shots on the fairway,
everything the same. You don't want that foot going back too far at all, because it just restricts any movement you can through the golf ball. Make sense?
Excellent.
Right.